Cause I'm back, back in the Cobras groove. Yeah, and I'm back, back in the Cobras groove. Yeah. What's up? Hey, I'm Aaron. This is Jason. Let's talk about the SoonerNation Fantasy Football League, Week 5.
Week 5. Yeah, are you excited about the start of the show this week?
Yeah. I got a little more pep in the step. I can't really explain it. There's just something. I don't know. The world seems rosier. I just feel better about life. I don't know. I got a vacation coming up here in a couple days, so maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just excited to get out of town and see some friends.
Okay, well, there might be some clues in this week's show, so let's
Yeah,
hit right to it.
yeah. Let's hit. Chris defeats John 81-71. Look, I don't know how a game that features Devon Achan 20 points, DJ Moore's 41 points, starting off Thursday night with just this outburst. How can a game with both of those stat lines just be so sad? Like, have you ever seen a game with two 12-point quarterbacks? Like, I I mean, it was fun the way it played out on Monday Night Football. I mean, the Hellhounds, they just needed a decent day out of Jordan Love, and he obliged by putting up a third of his season average. Um, John got touchdowns from all the receivers, just not enough. Just that Mahoney got a little bit out of Josh Jacobs. I don't know, what a desolate box score. Like, you can combine those bottom six, like three guys on each side, and you can't get to 20 points.
This was probably the game of the week, actually. I mean, there's a game that was exciting as well. We'll cover that was the Tall Paul game of the week.
Yeah.
But this game I mean, the quarterbacks ending up essentially with the same points, both being night games late in the week, was tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. So,
100%.
I mean, Mahoney with 41 points from DJ on Thursday night, and then getting 12 points from his quarterback was just amazing. But hey, Mahoney's 2-3. The Hellhounds, I will talk about the Hellhounds because they have a new starting quarterback, at least that they're going to try out this week, it looks like. I think they're getting better. But then you've got Achan getting hurt this week.
Yeah. John's got some flux, and he's got a new guy in town. I don't know. We'll see. I just realized.
Awesome game, though. Awesome game.
Chris scored more points on Thursday than on the rest of the week combined. Just DJ Moore had more than half his points.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
That's so gross.
Yes, that is. But sometimes you have just had a league winner. Sometimes you just have a weak winner when DJ Moore can do that. And that's what we drafted him for. So congrats to Chris on the win. Now, what's this next game? Let's see if I have this one up here.
This is 100% a true story. I went to the dentist yesterday morning. Had some fillings done. Got a little uncomfortable. You know, it's a painful. You know, it doesn't feel good. I don't go for that laughing gas. I say, just stick me, doc. So, I started getting pretty uncomfortable. I needed to go to my happy place, right? So, you know, little cowboys on tricycles, and grandma hits the jackpot and all that stuff. So, where do I go? Do I think of my family, my wife and kids, my friends that I love? Hell no. No, there was Dallas Clark in the end zone. There was Brees Hall tearing ass down the field, looking like that knee is just fine. And then there's Burrow to chase. There's Burrow to chase. There's Burrow to chase. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Got me through my dental appointment.
I have been waiting for this since the really the second touchdown. But then when Chase got his third, it was just, I mean, in a week that Justin Jefferson goes down for a minimum of 4 games, I understand that the Hellhounds being, I mean, the Rowdy Rompers being falling to 3-2, the Cobras at 2-3. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I am at a loss for words. You asked for one picture to be up on the screen this week. Tell us a little bit about this.
I actually wanted this for Brandon's game though, because it was like Aaron Jones was looking so fly, and I felt like Aaron Jones was just posturing, like, "Hey, look what we did to you, galloping ghosts." So, you know, save that for a little later.
I'll save it for later. Do you
have back on Chad? I gotta say, his guys let him down. Like, every single one of them played like below their season average.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins was right there, but I mean, boy, a regression week all across the board for Chad. And now he's got Justin Jefferson's hamstring to deal with. He's probably got the deepest wide receiver group in the
For sure.
league, so
Yeah.
he can probably absorb that. But I mean, you're never going to be the same without JJ out there.
I mean, the only thing I wanted to point out this week was we were on a touchdown watch last week for you with one. And
Yes.
I just wanted to, if you're watching online, you better watch quick because it was quick. It was real quick. The ways that your team moved forward with those touchdowns. I mean, tell us a little bit about where you watched it, how you celebrated, how many push-ups you had to do. What's the routine these days when your players score touchdowns? It'd been so long. I just am curious, like how it felt in the moment.
Well, everybody in my house was 100% aware of what was going on because I was hollering. It did start. It started with Dallas Goedert. He was like all over the drive.
Yeah.
So I had red zone on one screen and then just the Bengals on the other one. So I just see Goddard down the field, and then there he is in the end zone. And then just within 2 or 3 like actual time minutes, there's Burrow to chase for the first one. And I'm like, I haven't had 2 touchdowns all year, and here's two like and so I'm screaming, and I guess my family they're used to this, I suppose. But oh man, was it the second Chase touchdown where he had to reach and Burrow had to go like full. That one made me feel good. It was like a deep throw.
Yeah,
made me think like maybe we're through this calf thing. And then
the third touchdown was when he sprinted out to the right and threw that from across the field, and I was like, "Oh my, this is the resurrection of the Cobra Kai."
Yeah, and then oh man, to see Breece Hall just tearing down the field.
Yeah,
it was like, I guess that knee's pretty good. I guess his knee's feeling all right. Like, just looking like a man out there.
And then, I mean, you love Goddard, but Kyle Pitts looked as good as he's looked since he started in the league.
He's been hurt. He was hurt in the offseason. He had knee surgery. I feel like he's kind of getting back. Led the team in targets, led the team in catches. He just needed to get out from under those hellhounds. There's kind of just a losing culture over there. Zay Flowers was looking good. He just barely missed that long Lamar touchdown. Lamar was bad. But I feel like we got something going here now.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations. It was one of those days where you just I believe I texted this to you, but I think that the team high this year is 159 points, and you just were 4 points shy of the team of the individual. I mean, this was a combined total points would have been 3 of your previous weeks would have added up to 155.
Oh, and, I know.
you were able to have a great week. So congratulations. I'm sure everyone was as excited, is not nearly as excited as you. But I knew me, I knew that it was going to make the show great, and it was going to keep you into the league the rest of the season. So
let's hope so.
we got a pretty fun game to talk about later this week. So,
yes.
How about Middendorf going to 0-5? Again, he doesn't watch the show, so you can say whatever you want.
Are we sure? I bet he stealth watches. Jeff defeats John 99-83, but what a ho-hum game for Jeff. Like, that's all he needs to get by from John, but Mahomes just being his consistent self. Jeff was real thin. He just traded for Higgins, who was out. Metcalf was on bye, so he rolls with Thielen. The old man comes up jackpot for him. Lamar was terrible for John. He was lucky to get 23.
Yeah.
Bijan makes at least one play a week. That seems like only a cartoon character should be doing that.
Yeah.
Did it feel good for you to see DeAndre Hopkins still got it?
I love him so much. I one catch he made on the sidelines was just so mesmerizing. I love Nuke, always have, always will. And he's just a great player to have on your team. I mean, yeah. Speaking of Bijan, I think I might have something for us. Did you see this angle? I'm sure everyone.
Yeah, is this the behind the back catch?
This is the behind the back from above.
Yeah, somehow the ball goes back there while he's juking, a professional tackler.
I just could not believe that. I was just I mean, I know
Yeah,
he's 0 and
unbelievable.
5, but a play like that makes you think like, okay, I'm gonna at least have fun watching football the next, however many years. It just but it got an interesting team. I think Connor got hurt this week.
Yeah.
Hopkins and Debo are both getting old. Yeah, and you're right. As good as Lamar looked with 4 touchdowns last week, this week he looked just as bad. So hard to know what to do. But well, to get to Jeff's team in the preview, he's got Najee Harris and Warren on a bye and Eckler as his only 3 running backs.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I don't know if he's got a trade in the works or
most likely he will. Most
yeah.
likely he will. So okay, cue the Aaron Jones photo at the wrong spot, but let's talk about Brandon's win over the previously undefeated Ghosts.
Man, Brandon, yeah, over Josh, 122-107. This was a good one. And Brandon wanted us to be sure to notice that his 3 wide receiver lineup took down Josh's traditional 2 running back lineup. Tyreek is a problem. Like solid, not spectacular games for everybody else, just a real well-rounded win.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Jones just rubbing it in the Ghost's face, just looking fly on the sideline. Josh had a pretty good week. I think he was 4th, 5th in total points. He just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
That's a gut punch when you waste like this epic Travis Etienne performance.
Yeah.
I'm not a believer in him, but man, he was looking fast. In London, 32 points.
Yeah.
All for nothing though. He'll be fine. Josh will be fine. Amon Ra was out. He still had a 20-point Pickens on the bench.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of dudes that can play. But just I think Josh just moves on. But for Brandon, just statement win, just emphatically ending that 3-game losing streak.
He's got to feel good about his team. Now he did pick up the Detroit Lions with the big free agent Bucks. I think that was the power of the show, the peer pressure. So he's not so reliant on the Jags. I don't think it was because they were playing Buffalo. I think it was because he was like, you know what? I don't want to root for the Jags every week this much.
Yeah, you bullied him.
Then he goes with a win in England and super early on Sunday morning, only to watch the only other player on the team almost match his point total for his quarterback.
Yeah.
Had to feel good going to bed on Sunday night, knowing he was going to take home a victory. So congrats to Brandon, and shout out to Brandon for keeping the record picks each week.
100%.
Message board. And I think the biggest fan of the show, the person who comments on the message board the most, which is Josh. So Josh, thank you so much for making us feel like you're watching and getting us some feedback. I love message board banter and would love some more of it.
Yeah, it's all juicy. I don't know.
Hey, this was the Tall Paul, of course, Paul Mead Insurance. Big shout out and thank you to Paul Mead Insurance for the sponsoring the game of the week. And it was a barn burner that ended last night, almost as the game was about to be over, with Christian Watson catching that broken coverage play, giving Jay the victory. Go ahead.
Yeah, our game of the week, it did not disappoint. Another one of those Monday night nail biters. And I mean, Christian Watson, he's like this atomic bomb. Like you're just waiting, like he can go off at any point. Jay just needed 5 points. He was quiet. He was negative. He was quiet, and then he's gone. And then man, that's kind of a crummy way to lose, drawing it out like that. I'm glad it happened to you. The Vipers kind of had the opposite of the Hellhounds game, where John had the touchdowns and no yards. Jay was just all over the yardage, but nobody really getting in the end zone. Ultimately, I think the team with more heart just came through in the end and won it. I do think you should be encouraged by what you got from Cooper Kupp. Are you worried about Kelsey? He is on so many commercials. Like I'm just Kelsey'd out.
I am worried. I am worried about Kelsey. It's almost like the dating of the young woman. Did he know he was going to do that before he filmed all of these commercials? There are everywhere.
Yeah, every break there's.
It's Baker Mayfield from 2 years ago when Shake and Bake was on every single commercial. Right. There's definitely an exposure issue. I was super encouraged by Kupp. I was worried about Pollard. That we haven't talked much about that Sunday night game, but the Niners just put a whooping on Dallas, and Dak looked just pitiful, making all the wrong throws when Brock was making all the right throws. But I do want to say about Jay's trade. Jay traded for Calvin Ridley and started Ridley over Tank Dell, which was an 8-point upgrade. When we looked at the game. When we looked at this last week, he had Tank Dell in there, and I thought, oh, that's gonna not be great for CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud, their first scoring opportunities were all field goals, only one touchdown. And so Dell didn't get in the end zone. But Ridley's outscoring Dell by 8 points gave Jay the victory. Great coaching by Jay. Congratulations. Not worried about the Karate Kid. Looking back to having Herbert and Walker back next week, but a very good game. Very good game. Another game here. We've got the Russell Sweatbox and Dudabites.
Yeah. 116 to 104. Shane goes down. The dude with 4 starters on bye, coming off a 56-point game last week, he doubles his score from week 4, led by the Macho Man George Kittle, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kamara and Montgomery, they're scoring. Montgomery, what a guy to have this year. Scores every week, just like Jamal last year. I don't know. We didn't see that coming. None of us. I don't know.
Nope.
Why was he not a top 3 pick? But whatever. Shane needed a miracle from Daniel Carlson on Monday night, not to be. General Manager Shane, he was so disgusted with the Sweat Sox performance. Longtime starting running back Saquon Barkley traded away, didn't even get to fly home with the team. Jettisoned to the Hellhounds, where now he's got to just nervously anticipate where he's going to get traded to next.
Yeah. I'd like to go back through the annals of history. I should have done this to see when the last time Shane made a trade. I sort of feel like he banks his player at the draft and they're with him until next year's draft. So sucks to score over 100 points and to still lose. A good week for the league, I think. You don't imagine Devonta Smith's only going to have 1 catch.
No.
That would be, to me, a huge surprise, especially the way that Philly runs and passes the ball. I don't know.
And you hate to waste a 52-point quarterback performance, but Josh Allen's going to have another 5 or 6 of those. So you're not even wasted. It's just a regular Josh Allen day.
Yeah. I love Puka Nacua. George Kittle looked like an absolute animal against Dallas. He gets Alvin Kamara back. Like you said, David Montgomery. And then I think Gibbs is even just a little bit banged up. He's been traded around too. I do like your theory about players going to the Hellhounds and being nervous about their performance based upon how quickly they might get traded. So I'll have my eyes on that days to come. Yeah. So, man, I thought it was a great week. I know you thought it was a great week. I still am smiling because I thought it was a really great and competitive week in the league. Just a little update on our divisional leaders. We have 3 teams at 4-1, each leading their own division. And then, of course, here is this overall standings. And you have the team that has scored the most points here at the top, 4-1. And then you have the team at 0-5. How many points have been scored against John? I just did a little bit of a math. So John is averaging 132.3 points scored against him each and every week. I just wanted to look at another team. The Cobras have only had 369 points scored against them per week, which is actually an average of only 73.8 points scored against them each week, which you can see that there were teams have scored almost 300 more points against John than against the Cobras, which equals John is having 58.5 points more scored against his team per week than the Cobras. I just thought that was an incredible little fact there before we moved on to the NFL pick standings. You can see 3 teams at the top: John, Aaron, and Jason with 49, with Brandon just 1 behind. That was quite a week this week. I did take a brief lead after the early games on Sunday.
Yeah, like 3:00, you were ahead for about an hour.
I took a screenshot of it just to remember. And then we have the Survivor contest, which we have now only 4 teams remaining. John goes down choosing Buffalo to beat Jacksonville in England. And so we just have Brandon, Smith, Weiss, and Copeland. And we all picked the same team. And there's a chance we all pick the same team this upcoming week.
Yeah, here we go.
We'll see who can outlast, outwit, and outplay the Survivor contest there. And finally, we have, hopefully what you've noticed, hopefully for those of you watching online, I've tried to make the screenshots smaller and further to the left so you can see all the screen, not covered up by Aaron and myself. But this week, the 2 undefeated teams went down. And so Smitty and Team Jason both with losses. And we're going to profile the high point winner of the week, which was the Gridiron Vapors. And I must say, It also gives us a chance to talk about the team names each week if we highlight the highest point scorer. And J Bond being the Gridiron Vipers, now the Gridiron Vapors, is incredible. Really here led by it seemed like a huge week. But Justin Fields, my goodness. I did not see that coming after his miserable performance last week. Jay had two 50-point scores in our real league, whatever this thing is, the best ball league. He had 257 and a 53-point quarterback on Thursday night on his bench. So that was crazy. Here you'll see the standings of the best ball league before we move along to looking at the week 6 preview, which I'll let you take the lead on as we move to the first game.
We got Chris and Jeremy, both teams coming off a win. Mahoney really needs Dak to start playing like the guy that he traded for in the offseason, because Chris is going to go real heavy with the Raiders here. I don't know what kind of strategy that is, but the way the Patriots have been playing, like maybe it's a good strategy. Maybe they've been giving up points everywhere the last couple of weeks, but I think the dude is going to be too much to handle, regardless of who he plays at quarterback. Probably can't trust Terry McLaurin. He's going to have AJ Terrell over him, but he's super deep at receiver. I cannot see Chris keeping up.
Yeah, he put in Keenan Allen along with Puka. I do think Cleveland's defense, I'm really looking forward. I think the game of the week in the NFL is, I think San Francisco-Cleveland, super exciting.
For sure. Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what San Francisco can do against that defense. I thought Dallas, sorry, my microphone may have blipped out for a second. Hopefully it's still working.
Yeah, short circuit.
Yeah. But I too am taking the dude abides. I think his team is really good, especially at that receiver position. I think David Montgomery is going to be somebody that each week I think is not that good, and he's going to score 1 or 2 touchdowns. So
yeah, and the tight end advantage for Jeremy is astronomical.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think DJ Moore is going to score 41 points. So I'm definitely going to take the dude abides as well. So should be a good game. 2-3, 3-2. There's a chance to Mahoney get to 500 after 6 games in the season, which will be the first time in history. So
Jeff and Shane, number 1 quarterback in the league, Josh Allen versus the only guy on more commercials than Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You alluded to it earlier. I don't know. Is Eckler going to be ready to play, or is Jeff going to make a move at running back? Because the cupboard is bare.
Yeah.
Thankfully for Jeff, he's got the number 1 tight end in the league, Sam Laporta.
Oh my gosh. He's incredible.
Yeah. Shane's just too deep, though. I think Shane's going to be way too much for the defending champs.
Man, I am Shane scored over 100 points. Mahomes, I think, is going to have an incredible amount of touchdowns on Thursday night. I'm taking Jeff. Jeff will find a way to get a starting running back in that position. If it's not Eckler, it'll be somebody off the waiver wire. I thought Jeff may have gone after McLaughlin last week. Maybe he was the $4 bid. But I don't know. I really think it's going to be I think that Thursday night game can kind of be a little bit wonky. This week, I think I might be wonky because I might be 50-7. And it might just be a week where Kansas City just goes bonkers. That said, Josh Allen's playing the at home versus the Giants, who also
the both defenses.
I mean, if there wasn't a particular relationship matchup later on in the show for our game of the week, this was a great game because of the potential fireworks at the starting quarterback. Mahomes versus Allen is so great. So
top tier.
It'll be a great game. And again, a 2-3 team versus a 3-2 team. This is the chance for them to go even squared up at 3-3, or Jeff potentially going 2-4.
Shane can get some distance here.
I believe Jeff's going to rise up to 500.
Wow. Okay. Josh versus the Hellhounds. Man, this looks like a runaway win for the Ghosts. Like, John has all these guys, these awesome guys, and he just can't get the job done. The Hounds are going to need like a huge Waddle game to just absorb all these Tua points. Brock Purdy is the number 5 quarterback right now. So it's not really a mismatch here. John could win the quarterback battle. Jefferson's out, so maybe Addison gets force-fed. There's a path for John. I'm afraid it's going to be an easy win for Dr. Ghost.
So do you think that because Tua's playing at home versus Carolina, do you think it's just going to be just a runaway for the Dolphins and Tua?
I sort of feel like unless it's a top tier defense, the Dolphins are going to steamroll everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Until Tua gets hurt, Josh's team is going to be really hard to beat. I look at
Yeah.
that roster with Brock Purdy in it. John's a team that a number one seed's not going to want to face if he makes the playoffs as an 8 seed, because
Hmm.
I just he's got so much talent, and he's the most prolific trader in the league. And I hope that Jeff doesn't doesn't feel like that's a slide against him. But if you can get Shane to trade with you, you know you've got something going on the trade machine in ways that other teams just can't. Uh, I also picked the Ghost. Looking forward, I've tried to decide not to just always pick against you,
Hmm.
although it does make it more fun. I think that Tua is going to have just magic against Carolina, and with HN probably not playing, I think it's just more passing points that is going to be spread around with Tua. So I think Tua scores 60,
Or
70 points.
or Mostert gets more carries. I don't know what if Jeff Wilson maybe is going to play.
I have a feeling that everyone's going to wish they had Jeff Wilson Jr. on their team in about 2 weeks, but we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I Tyreek might outscore DJ Moore this week with his I don't know. But I'm taking the Ghosts, and I
Yeah.
think the Ghosts are going to have a little fun weekend. And I just sometimes I think that the being in a special place with friends is going to make it that much more special with a win. So I'll take the Ghosts to go to 5-1.
But Chris doesn't benefit from those.
No, not Chris.
uh, Jay versus John, 4-1 Vipers, fresh off last week's victory over the Worm from the Valley, taking on the winless Pharisees. Coach Bond, the heavy favorite here. For John Bijan, as we've established, 100% that guy. Cole Kmet's really been coming on with the resurgence of the Bears offense.
Yeah.
Pastor John's got some avenues for points. Like we just saw Hopkins go off last week, but boy, Jay just seems better just in every position. I don't know how John keeps up.
No, I hate keep picking against John, but I think I have to until he shows us he can win. Jay didn't have any touchdowns this week at the skill positions, and you know that's going to change. He has talented players. I mean, Derrick Henry's not going to throw for a touchdown each week, but
Right.
I think that Jay's too good at 4-1. He's going to go to 5-1, and John's going to go to 0-6. Jay may score 150 points this week just because that's what you do when you play against the Pharisees. John has the worst defense in the league, and it's very well documented earlier in the show. So
Yeah.
I'm taking J2. I need to find some people to pick against you, but we'll keep going. So what do you got against another 3-2 versus 2-3 matchup?
Yeah, we got 2 games left. Brandon coming off a win, Chad coming off a stunning loss, looking to get back in the win column. Coach Long needing to do it without Justin Jefferson. That hurts, but as we talked about, if anybody can absorb it, it's Chad. It's so deep at receiver. Brandon's got the number one receiver and the number one running back right now. He's going to need it. I don't love Chad's running backs. You can't dispute they are off to a good start. I'm going to give Chad the slight edge here, but this was the toughest game for me to decide.
Okay, it's good to have different. I got to take Brandon with McCaffrey and Hill. I think it's going to be one of those weeks where Hill is just seen as like, oh yeah, I know he had 8 for 181 and 2 touchdowns last week, or 1 touchdown last week, but everyone's talking about a lot of receivers not named Tyreek Hill. I think it could be one of those like 3 touchdown, 250-yard performances after Chase's last week. McCaffrey and Hill are so stinking fun. I made a trade offer for both of those players in the off season.
Not well received, I'm guessing.
Well, I offered pretty much the world. I was gonna go look for it while we were talking. I probably can't look for it. It's probably quite a few months ago. But those are two players that are super fun to watch. Even though McCaffrey plays at Cleveland, I just think that they're too good. And it looks like you're gearing up for the next episode. Actually, wanted to let you have the sponsor because amazingly, you had someone reach out to you for the sponsor this week. Is that right?
Oh, this was a very special. I'm delighted by the sponsor of
Okay, yeah.
the
So,
game of the week.
yeah, tell us who the sponsor of the game of the week this week is.
Yeah, we got a very generous donation from the Lauren and Linda Gresham Foundation. They really love what we've been up to here on the show, and they just want to support it. They support quality. You can count on them to have your back and to always just support the highest of quality. And they know it when they see it.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's you and I. That's the game of the week.
Yeah, thank you. And again, congrats to the show for picking up yet another sponsor. Really glad they reached out to you. I know how much you love Southern Nazarene University and want to give your extra funds to them to support the university, to make it possible for it to create, shape the minds of America's youth. So a big shout for them giving back to the show. So thank you. And so the game of the week, Aaron, take it away.
Wow, here we go. Man, the Karate Kids are way tougher this week. I would have rather had last week, the no Herbert week. You got Kenneth Walker back, you got Herbert back. Burrow, I think, is back. I'm going to still give you a slight edge at quarterback just because the consistency has been there for Herbert. Not worried about Dallas right now. Maybe Micah gives him a hard time. We'll see. Maybe Parsons can give Herbert a hard time. But I like my running backs more than yours. But geez, Pacheco has just been like, I'm counting on Jonathan Taylor like getting that Zach Moss workload.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah.
I like Chase more than any of your receivers, but your receiver 2 is so much higher than whoever I'm going to throw out at receiver 2. Kelsey, he seems like the ankle's not an issue. He was out there on the Hail Mary playing defense.
Yeah.
So the ankle's got to be fine. So that's a major advantage for you, of course, against Denver. I mean, this game might be. I like my chances, and because I know you're competitive, and you're not going to pick me to win, I'm going to pick you to win just to mess with you.
Of course, I'm taking the Karate Kid to win. The player I'm most nervous about on your team are the Kansas City Chiefs defense versus Russell Hustle and Bustle Wilson. I think that could potentially be a 50-3 where there's multiple interceptions returned for touchdowns, fumbles returned for touchdowns, where you have a 35-point week on Thursday night. I do like that the Eagles get to play against a Wilson of their own. But he's looked a lot better than Russell has the last couple of weeks. So I am most nervous about the Kansas City Chiefs, but when you have the electric opportunity for Joe to chase, if you have 2 touchdowns, that's obviously 4, and you're just like, come
get some.
It's like compound interest. So I'll take the Karate Kid, but I'm looking forward to playing you this week, and want to wish you the worst of luck as hopefully you'll drop to 2-4 and I can go to 5-1. So,
Whew. What a show!
I think we're getting through the show a little bit quicker than we have in years past. I think we're trying to keep it around that 30-minute mark rather than going to the 45 to an hour. Hopefully our audience will appreciate that. We're trying to get through it. Let us know what you think about the show. If you like the graphics or not. I have enjoyed preparing them, mainly because it's just super fun to look at the week. And I look at, I feel like it's almost like my job to watch as many games as possible to be able to have commentary on them. So I don't know how
you got to have takes.
Would you agree with that about yourself?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'm like, I better watch how this game ends in case it matters. I got to talk about it. No, I love your graphics. I think it helps follow the show.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. When do you fly back home next week? You're going on a little trip.
Coming back Monday, so we can do this again next Tuesday.
Okay, will you be flying during the Monday Night Football game, or will you be
landing?
You'll be landing, so you get to come home, turn on the TV, and watch Justin Herbert go to work.
Yeah, they'll probably, about the time they're carting him off is about the time I'll Micah Parsons will be standing over the crumpled body of Justin Herbert, and right as I'm walking in, I'll see him. He'll give the thumbs up as he's being carted away, and we'll think, oh, okay, he's gonna be all right. He'll be back next season.
I am not. If there's something terrible happens to Justin Herbert, this is obviously going to be clipped, and it will start next week's show if somehow Herbert goes down. Have a great week, a great vacation on the weekend, and we'll see you back next Tuesday. Worst of luck to the Cobras.
Yeah, bad luck.